What's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here, Cheesehead TV. It's Extra Cheese. Just chatting with you on the old webcam on a Tuesday afternoon about all things green and gold. Saying hello to both people who are here to begin the live stream. I don't know who you are. I want to thank you for showing up. Oh, look it. Okay, Aisha. Aisha wants a shout out, but she's not on the stream. So there's your shout out, but you missed it. Stinks to be you. Sup? Hey, look at all these people. Aaron, what's up, man? You demand extra cheese. That's what I'm talking about. Black background. Yeah, there's a studio back there somewhere. Mark, what's up? Chris, hello. Hold on, I'm going to give her a little grief here. She wants a shout out, but she doesn't want to show up. You just did. Yo, Craig, what's up? Well, was just thinking to myself, no Packers for a while, and here you are, had to click. Kevin, it's what I do, man. Let me tell you something. There is always something to talk about with the Green Bay Packers. It doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. in Yugoslavia. There is something to talk about when it comes to the green and gold. I don't know what that is, but it's there. This is an oasis of my day in Packer greatness. Okay, I like that. How many wide receivers do you think make the roster? Whew, that's a good question. Let's go down the line, right? I mean, obviously, nobody knows anything yet. Adams is a lock. Outside of that, it's anyone's guess. No, I'm kidding. Geronimo, I think, will be there. MVS, EQ. And then after that, man, I don't know. We got, I think Touchdown Jesus has got a shot. I think everyone forgets about Trevor Davis, but I think he's got a shot. Hell, Eaton, the kid they picked up out of Iowa State. I'm curious to see him. So, 5 or 6. I doubt it's 7, but you never know. Rashawn Gary was often doubled and tripled by O-linemen, which could explain his, quote, lack of production. Well, we know that's the line that Brian Gutekunst was selling, and I think there's definitely validity to that. I think you do see a large majority of his tape where you have him fighting through double teams and you have teams specifically game planning against him. So I don't think that's an over exaggeration, but the one hesitant moment I have is when I do see he finally gets a one-on-one. It's not that he rarely wins. It's just he rarely wins in a way where he affects the quarterback. I think, to Gutekunst's point when he was talking at the podium, I think there are plenty of plays where he does affect the pocket and he does kind of wreak havoc, so to speak. Just would have liked to seen a little bit more when he was given one-on-one opportunities. Now, that's not to say he won't or can't, but so far, a lot of untapped potential there. Nagler becomes league commissioner. What are your top 3 changes to the league? Well, I scrapped the CBA and I lock out the players until they agree that they got to do 2-a-days again in camp. No, I'm kidding. I open up. The first thing I do is get rid of DirecTV's kind of draconian hold on the Sunday ticket package. And I open up broadcast for any and all platforms. All they have to do is bid for the rights. And I make sure NFL games are available on everything, everywhere. That would be my, how Roger Goodell is like the discipline commissioner. I would be the football for all commissioner. Did our roster improve enough to get to the playoffs? That's a great question. It's really hard to answer the end of April. But I will say the potential is definitely there. There's way more talent on the defensive side of the ball now than there has been in Green Bay quite some time. It's up to that coaching staff to put it together and make it all work. On the flip side, obviously, it's about Aaron Rodgers and making the offense go with a new scheme. I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's put it that way. Rashawn Gary equals Nick Perry experiment 2.0. Chad, I don't think so. I think Gary can be much more effective all along the defensive front, whereas Perry was strictly an outside guy. I think Gary will obviously stand up and do some of those things, but I think he'll also kick inside on occasion. And I think he's just a hell of a lot more versatile. I think he's a much better athlete than Perry was coming out. When am I getting super chat? Matub, that is a great question. I tell you what, we have had an odyssey dealing with YouTube and Google trying to get our channel monetized. And it has been nothing but frustration. But in the meantime, if you'd like to support what we and I do, you can always Venmo me at Aaron Nagler. You can always buy me a beer on the Venmo. Is this Kevin King's final chance to stay healthy in Green Bay? I mean, you say final chance. I mean, he's got 2 more years on his deal. If he's unable to stay healthy this year, you would think that, yes, they would most likely start to look to the future. But I don't think they would jettison him. I don't think they'd cut him. I think they would use at least up, the 4 years of his rookie deal. But much like Casey Hayward, I think maybe they would start to look towards letting him walk. Now, we all know how that turned out with Casey Hayward. But, if he's unable to stay on the field, it's hard to continue to plan around him. Do you mind checking out my videos when you have time? Sorry if you're against self-promotion, Mike. I would love nothing more than to check out your videos, man. Shoot me some of your best clips at aaron@cheeseheadtv.com. Well, yeah, Google has those new shenanigan rules. Don't you need like 10,000 subs? I don't know if it's the sub number. The communication we got from Google originally was that we had copyrighted material. So I went back and I scrubbed everything we've ever put up because, we've had this damn channel for 10 years. We only really didn't start to really use it in earnest until this season. So like I had, clips from television, like Packer games, etc. So I scrubbed all of that and then we reapplied and we still got denied. So at this point, I have no idea. I'm thinking it's possibly, Corey doesn't think it's this, but I think it's all of the old, endings for Packer transplants where we have the clips of Rodgers going shh and the clips of McCarthy going, I'm not in the mood for drama tonight, Jason. Corey makes this whole grandstanding argument about copyright law and how we're doing it in parody and that's covered under all sorts of different laws except copyright law. I'm like, that's great, but the machines don't care. And you cannot talk to a human being when you try to communicate with Google. It's beyond frustrating. Can Sternberger, Hallman, or Williams be returners? I don't think that's the calling for Sternberger. Maybe Hallman, maybe Williams. But Trevor Davis is still on the roster. Don't forget. Which league has the worst officiating? NBA, MLB, or NFL? Eric, I don't even think it's close. I think it's the NBA. Obviously, officiating can affect a game in any of the leagues, and on any given week you can read about some horrific officiating in the NFL, but to my eyes no officiating crew controls a game, whether it's the flow, whether it's the outcome, whatever you want to call it, more than the NBA referees. And that's really why I got in some hot water the other day because I said I'm just not invested in the Bucks, and it's not because of the Bucks. I think Giannis and everything they're doing is great, but it's just the NBA, man. I can't. Even great playoff contests that should be just amazing and you have these wonderful teams. I just can't get into it because it's okay, we're going to call all these fouls, but this thing that's exactly like those other things, we're not going to call that. Who knows why? Blah, blah, blah. Now, obviously, the NFL has a very similar consistency problem. It just, to me, doesn't kill the flow of the game the way it does in the NBA. Because in the NBA, it seems so arbitrary. Now, obviously, I'm not going to stick up for the consistency or lack thereof in the NFL because we all know it's atrocious. I just don't think it approaches the game-altering, enjoyment-altering level that it does in the NBA. That's just me, just my opinion. I know plenty of you will disagree. That's what I was asked, and that's what I'm saying. Will Savage wear jersey 21? I don't remember off the top of my head, but they did put out the jersey numbers yesterday. If someone in the chat could chime in on that, I want to look it up. All I know is that Gary's going to wear 52, and Clay Matthews was quick to pounce on that, saying the body's not even cold yet. I thought that was pretty funny. So we have new strength and conditioning? Not really, Craig. They have new leadership, so to speak, with Morton going up there, but Mark Lavatt is still in the room, and they're still pretty much the same staff. Surprise 52 was taken so quickly. Taken meaning given out. I think no. Essentially, no. I think it sticks, and it's in line with pretty much everything we've seen this offseason. The way they really kind of wanted to move on from a lot of Mike McCarthy's guys. I think giving out 52 is another way to kind of delineate the old guard, the new guard. This was the old team. This is the new team. Sorry. No, I'm getting it. I'm live on the air, but cool. Let's see. Jenkins, very good pick for us. I love his tape. I love his versatility. I really hope it translates to the NFL. You never really know until you start seeing him on an NFL field against NFL players, but man, he's fun to watch. No doubt about it. Right now. Sorry, guys. Does McCray make the 53? He's going to have to battle. I think he's got long odds at this point. We'll see. Packers go 10-6 this season. Ask me again late August. Thoughts on Sternberger? I think he's exciting. You've got a lot of upside there. I doubt he contributes much this year. I said this yesterday. Contributing right out of the gate as a rookie tight end, very, very few and far between. You don't see it happen a lot, and they've got lots of, not lots of, but they got plenty of guys in front of him. I don't think you're going to see a ton of him early on. Maybe they start easing him into things as the year progresses. I could be totally wrong. He could step on the field day one, just light it up. Maybe Rodgers ends up loving him, etc. Who knows? But history would suggest that it'll be a while before he's making a difference. And I suspect this year is much more about grooming him to kind of be more of a factor next year if and when they move on from Jimmy Graham. Fat girl for Pro Bowl. Woo! Baby. I'm out of it for a little while. Everybody gets delusions of grandeur. Will we try to pick up a veteran cornerback for more experience in the room? I doubt it. I think they'll probably ride with what they have. Now, you never know who might end up getting cut. Maybe they've got their eye on a potential cap casualty, but I think they're going to most likely roll with what they got. They want to play those young guys that they've got. Used 2 premium draft picks at corner last season. They got a really promising guy in Tony Brown. You got a veteran in Tremont. It's a pretty solid group. Does Kiki getting 96 definitely mean Wilkerson won't be re-signed? Javier, I won't say it definitely means it, but it most likely means it, yeah. I said it live when he was selected, even before they gave out the number. I thought that selection probably closed the door on Wilkerson returning. Now, who knows? Injuries can happen at any minute. If someone goes down in camp or even in this offseason, maybe they end up giving Wilkerson a call. I'm sure he's on their short list, but for the time being, yeah, I would think they'll move ahead with what they've got. What's up, Matt? Thanks for showing, and thanks for your note. I'm glad you had a no-show so you could show up live. Did this draft improve the special teams unit? Michael, you would hope so. Guys, that's where Sternberger can probably make his kind of bones this year, along with some of the younger day 3 guys, whether it's Williams, corners, etc. Maybe some of the undrafted guys can shine there. But, Savage could probably contribute there as well. So, yeah, I think you would like to see it. You'd like to see these guys be able to contribute right away on teams. McCarthy said this all the time. Obviously, he's not in charge anymore, but it's pretty true around the NFL. Your quickest way onto the squad is through special teams, and I don't think much will change in that regard. Mike Daniels is going to ball out for his contract year. I would tend to agree, but I think he's going to be showcasing himself for the rest of the league. Again, we talked about this yesterday. It's very rare that they give out third contracts in Green Bay. Now, if Mike balls out, maybe he makes the case, but we'll see. What will Cole Madison's role be after missing last year? That's a good question. I don't think anybody really knows at this point. I think some of it will be determined on what kind of shape he's in, what he looks like here in these next couple weeks. We can't make too many determinations until the pads come on, because that's when you can really kind of tell how those linemen can really play. But hey, I think he'll be given every opportunity to win a spot, and even to maybe even potentially win a starting spot. Now, I think those are long odds, but first and foremost, he's got to show that he can, play in this league, and he'll have that opportunity. Do you think Lane Taylor is in danger of losing his starting spot? I saw some talk on Twitter about Madison Jenkins taking his spot and Turner playing right guard. Well, Madison's got to show that he can play, first of all. I mean, I don't think you can pencil him in any way, shape, or form yet. Jenkins, maybe. I think he's definitely in that mix. And look, I think Jenkins will battle. I think Taylor will battle. Turner will battle. Madison will be given an opportunity. McCray will battle. Those guys are all going to be thrown in the mix. I don't think anybody's, guaranteed anything. I think Lane Taylor will get first crack at left guard because that has been his spot. But, I do think you'll see a lot of other guys rotated in and out, and every opportunity given to find the best kind of two guys they can at left and right guard. But as I've said before, Lane Taylor was an absolute warrior last year. He played through a lot of stuff he never really talked about. I expect him to bounce back, but we'll see. Will the Packers choose a new kick returner or keep Trevor Davis just for his role? To be determined. I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, the injuries have played a big part in Davis not being able to solidify a spot. Last year, for the brief time we saw him on the field, he was excellent as a gunner. He was actually better as a gunner than he was as a returner, which you would think would be enough to keep him on the team. If he was able to play multiple roles on multiple special teams units, coupled with the fact that he could play from wide receiver, from scrimmage, that should help his stock. Now, he's got to stay on the field. But if he can contribute on special teams in that manner across many units, then yeah, he has a shot to stick around. But he's got to prove that he can stay healthy. Do you think Spriggs makes the 53? Kevin, I think the odds are much longer after the draft than they were before it. They weren't great, even heading into last weekend. I think Turner's versatility hurts him. I would suspect that one of the reasons they signed Turner is because of his experience at tackle, particularly the right tackle, where we know Brian Bulaga is more likely than not going to miss some time at some point. Turner can slide right over there, and that means you don't really need Spriggs because Spriggs can't kick into guard. So if these kids, including Jenkins, who has played all 5 spots along the offensive line, if he proves he can hold up and play, and Gutekunst even said it in his press conference, like you would feel like in a pinch you could get through a game with him at tackle. You could finish a game with him at tackle. Well, if that is the case, and you also have Turner who can kick out to tackle, and then you're talking about Spriggs who can only play tackle, well, it doesn't bode well for his future in Green Bay. Will they have a fullback this season? I hope so. I was watching the Patriots game this morning and remembering that they used Lance Kendricks at fullback. Ain't nobody got time for that. Is Allison a lock at number 2 for you? Kevin, early on, yes. Coming out of the offseason program into camp, yes. Now, I think MVS could make a move. EQ could make a move. But ultimately, I think Allison will most likely be the number 2, at least to begin the year. He's got the most experience with Rodgers. Rodgers trusts him the most of everyone else vying for that spot. That's not to say those other guys won't have opportunities and that they couldn't make a move. But sitting here in late April, yeah, that would be my guess. I hope we bring back Ibrahim Campbell for depth, raw, but showed some promise. I absolutely agree, William. I tend to think the odds are long unless an injury comes along or say they get on the field and maybe somebody shows they can't hold up, etc. But I really liked Campbell last year, the limited amount that we got to see him in Pettine's defense. I thought he held up really well. Was certainly the surest tackler they had. So, yeah, I'm with you. I hope he gets another shot. Jair Alexander YouTube highlights are amazing from last year. I'm down with that. I mean, YouTube highlights are always amazing, though. He had some great stretches, but he also, he had his problems too, man. I mean, people don't want to talk about it, but he was very inconsistent last year. He showed a lot of promise. He balled out at times, but he also had some rough patches. He's got to smooth that out a little bit. But the sky is the limit for him. Make no mistake. Is everyone underestimating Trevor Davis getting some wide receiver snaps? I don't think they're underestimating it. I think it's more reality. I mean, every year he's kind of like the T-shirt and shorts champion, and then as soon as the pads come on, he just kind of disappears. It's happened the last 2 years anyway. You would love for him to be able to see more snaps, but you look at the work that those guys did last year, whether it was EQ, MVS, or Kumaro. Those are a lot of guys that are wanting the football and wanting snaps and need reps. And as promising and as tantalizing as Davis's speed is, outside of that, he hasn't shown a whole lot when given opportunities. He's been inconsistent. And I think you drafted all those guys. You got Kumaro, who Rodgers really seems to love throwing the football to. It's just long odds. Now, it doesn't mean he can't, doesn't mean he won't, but the odds are not in his favor. Cooper with the all caps. What do you think the most galvanizing move of the offseason was? Honestly, I think it was the Bleacher Report article. I think that galvanized the entire franchise. So you all should send a thank you note to Ty Dunn. Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. I love it when you guys drop Star Wars quotes in here. I'm all in. Jamon going to get cut? He's the great unknown. He's the great, kind of lottery ticket at this point. He's obviously the highest drafted guy from that group and did the least amount with it last year. It's all about the work he puts in this offseason and can he develop? Talk about that jump from year 1 to year 2. You just want to see him wake up. He's got all the tools. You just got to stop dropping the football, be where he's supposed to be, execute the plays, and we'll see. Maybe he comes in and surprise everyone. But going off what you saw last year, I wouldn't count on it. Is there any position you see the Packers signing a free agent for depth after the draft? Maybe possibly safety. I know they drafted high, and there's clearly there's bodies to work with there, a bunch of moving parts. But I think maybe if there was a spot, maybe that would be it. But I don't think anything like a starter or a big name. It would definitely be a depth signing. Do you like any of the rookie free agents? I like Matt Eaton out of Iowa State, the wide receiver. Really like him. Of course, we're talking about wide receivers here, right? Packers need a versatile Wookiee. Scott, we all need a versatile Wookiee at some point in our lives. How do you feel about the inside linebacker depth? Brandon, I was talking about this a little bit on Twitter last night. I'm not really concerned about it because they run so much 3 safety stuff and 6, 7 defensive back things. And it's 2019. The NFL has changed. And I know there are other teams with superstar inside linebackers or middle linebackers. That's not the Packers. And that's not Mike Pettin. He's never needed that in any of his defenses. You go back, you look at the Jets defense. He didn't have world beaters there on the inside. They got the job done. I think they've got all the talent they need in Martinez and Burks. Burks has just got to step up and do the job that's asked of him. But ultimately, I think you're going to see a lot of 3 safety looks with Jones, Amos, and Savage. Those are going to be your main guys. And this day and age, in a league that is 75 to 80% nickel, inside linebacker, I think the Packers are doing fine. You had a dream last night of the Packers versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl, Jake. I'll tell you what, the NFL would love that. Ty Summers is a superstar waiting to happen. Trust me. You heard it here first from Jesus of the Apes. What a name. I actually like Tony Brown. I love Tony Brown, Joshua. I've been talking him up all offseason, which, of course, as Nico Saragusa will tell you, going to get you cut. Who's the most foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? I like it. Bigger impacts, Savage or Amos? Ooh, Doug, that's a good question. I think they'll have equal impact, but I think it'll be in different ways. I think Amos will have them solidified on the back end, and I think Savage will be the big playmaker. Man, I can't tell you guys how excited I am to watch Savage in a Packers uniform. I think he is going to tear it up. But that's not to detract from or take away from the impact I think Amos is going to have. Because as we've seen throughout the last couple of years, the Packers have been a sieve back there. We've had so many bad angles and bad coverage, just bad. And I think Amos will go a long way in solidifying things on the back end. So is Gary slated to play outside linebacker or DE? He'll play all over. He's going to play defensive tackle at times. People keep trying to pigeonhole him. Don't. They'll probably list him as outside linebacker. They may list him as DL, but I think he's going to play all over the place. Pettin is going to use him as a chess piece. Savage and Amos, good compliments to each other? Yes, Aaron, very much so. Amos fits the bill as the strong safety, and Savage will be the free. like I said, I can't tell you guys how excited I am to watch Savage in Mike Pettine's defense. Going to be a baller. Possibility that Sternberger passes Tanyan on the depth chart eventually? Absolutely, Matthew. I mean, he's a draft choice, and they're running a new offense, so whatever Tanyan knew about the old scheme doesn't matter heading into this year. That's not to take away from Big Bob, because I think he's got a lot of talent. He showed last summer that he can catch anything thrown to him, and Aaron Rodgers seems to like the guy. So you put all that together, he's definitely got a chance to stick around, but you use a day 2 pick on a tight end, he's going to be given every opportunity to move up the depth chart over the undrafted guy from the year before. Safe to say Savage is a starter next season? Yeah. I mean, I kind of joked about it on Twitter, saying I do wonder if the Packers defensive staff will go through the time-honored kabuki theater tradition of making him earn his spot. But, I mean, he's got to be a day 1 starter. I mean, come on, people. If we're looking for chess pieces for Pettine, can we bring back Desmond Bishop? Well played. Kevin King is a chess piece. Look at all these chess pieces we got. Gary, an immediate starter. That's not even a. I wouldn't say is a foregone conclusion. I think he will play a lot, and I think he will be used a lot in a lot of different ways. But your nominal starter, we'll see. I guess it depends on what kind of defense they come out in, which will probably be predicated on what kind of offense they're playing against. Again, so many sub packages. Sub packages are now your norm / starting. So who knows? A lot of Gary stuff here saying he either did produce when he got one-on-ones or didn't produce when he got one-on-ones. I certainly saw him win some one-on-ones, but I think more often than not, I saw him getting stonewalled in one-on-ones. Now, again, he's going to have NFL coaching, got a whole new staff, got a whole new scheme. We'll see. Their thinking is they have got what he needs to unlock all of that potential, and there is a lot of it. So we'll see. Got to give it up for Mike Pettine. I'll take 1 or 2 more here, guys. Is whiskey the choice this evening? No, Josh, it is not. But speaking of which, I do have to go and meet someone for drinks. So that is where I'm headed. When is the next time the team gets together? Funnily enough, they literally just announced the off-season dates. Hold on a second. Take a look here. Because the Packers have a rookie minicamp this weekend, I believe. Green Bay, yeah, May 3rd through 5th is the rookie minicamp. But then they've got May 20th, basically through the 31st, and then June 3rd through 6th with the mandatory minicamp after that from June 11th through 13th. So we'll see the Packers out and about there on the old 1265 Lombardi, but got to get those rookies worked in. It'll be interesting to see how LaFleur works things this offseason, simply because we've seen Mike McCarthy and his program for the last 13 years. It's interesting to get some fresh blood in there and see how things operate. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to jump. Thank you so much for all the questions. I'm sorry if I couldn't get to yours. I'll be back tomorrow with a Packers Daily. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe, like, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody. Cheesehead TV on YouTube. There are worse things you could do as a Packers fan. How's that for a sell? Anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night.